Good morning, everyone. So, we had a slight error with the first video I did for this. I did the whole live on mute. So, for those of you who know me, it's not that hard to believe. I did the whole video in mute. And I went to look at it to review it before I posted it. No sound whatsoever. Surprise, surprise. It's a Monday, guys. All right, so today we are going to be talking about Lilith. She is known as a she demon. Lilith is a female figure that is found in Mesopotamian and Judaic mythology. Her description of how she looks has only ever been given in partial description, which of course we know how that goes. It leaves room for the imagination to absolutely run wild of what she could have looked like. Her looks have varied from a beautiful, seductive woman to a sinister-looking demon, but most have agreed that she is simply a winged demon with a woman's face. She's also been referred to as a succubus, which isn't surprising. A succubus simply means they take the form of a beautiful woman. Lilith translates into different languages as a night owl, night monster, night hag, and a screech owl. She is classified as a dangerous demon of the night. She is sexual and seductive. She uses the cover of night. Oh, excuse me, guys. She uses the cover of night to steal, kill, and drink babies' blood, as well as cause women to miscarry. Everywhere she goes, sickness and death is said to follow her. I believe there's a reasoning why she may do this, and we'll get into that here in just a little bit. So, mentionings of Lilith have dated back to as far as 500 CE. I had to look up what CE was because I had absolutely no idea what it meant. It means Common Era, but it's referred to as AD, is how we know it. So, she's dated back to as far as 500 AD in Jewish mythology. The legend of her became popular during the Middle Ages, and the date range for that is the 5th to 15th century. She is thought to be the first wife of Adam. She has also been referred to as a primordial she demon. Primordial means from the beginning of time. What picture am I on here, guys? I don't even know. Here we go. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. That should be better to see now. Okay. So there seems to be two main beliefs about Lilith and her story. The first is that she was the first woman created by God to be Adam's partner in the Garden of Eden. It is said that she refused to obey her partner, which would have been Adam, in the garden. She refused to obey and be dominated by Adam, and for that, she was either banished or left the garden on her own free will. I've read 2 or 3 different versions of this, and it either states that she was banished from the garden or that she left as her own free will. So I'm not sure which that is, but it was said that 3 angels were sent to find her and persuade her to return to the garden to be with Adam. Lilith refused, stating that she would not submit or be dominated by man, referring to Adam and God, of course. Due to her refusal to return, her consequence was that any child she bore would be plagued with sickness and eventually die if the child was not already born dead. Let me get zoomed out of here. Goodness, I did zoom far. The description we talked about earlier, let me go ahead and go to the next picture. Too far. Hold up, guys. Can I do that? Okay. We'll get to this picture in a minute. The description we talked about earlier of her killing babies may be linked to the consequences that were placed on her as a punishment for not returning to the Garden of Eden to be Adam's wife. This could possibly be the reason she kills the children as a rage for other women for not being able to have offspring of her own that would be able to continue living. So here's the picture on this. The second belief of Lilith is that after she left the garden, she coupled with a dark angel named Samal, and this is a picture of him that I found. He is known as the accuser, the seducer, and the destroyer. He is a dark angel, so he is not aligned with the holy angels like Michael and them. So, dark angel. It is said that the two of them would have thousands of offspring at a time near the Red Spring. The Red Spring, guys? The Red Sea. It is also said that she may have coupled with Agrith as well, and he is known to prey on children. So let's hit this next slide. This is a picture of the Dead Sea Scrolls. So Lilith is mentioned by name in the Dead Sea Scrolls, entitled The Song of Sage. She's mentioned by name, in which she appears in a list of demonic creatures. Another Dead Sea Scroll, called the Seductress, is sometimes presumed to refer to Lilith, although it doesn't say her name. But most scholars believe that this is in reference to Miss Lilith. So we're going to go ahead and get into this now. Did God create woman twice? So there's a theory out there that possibly God created two women in the beginning. And this comes from the wording in the Bible. So this first verse is Genesis 1:27. God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. So when you look at this verse, it looks as though male and female were created at the exact same time. But when you come over here to this next verse, Genesis 2:22, and the rib which the Lord God had taken from man, made he a woman and brought her to the man. So this is the verse that we're all used to seeing in the Bible. You know, they're both in the Bible, but this is the one where we presume that the first woman was made. I prefer to believe this one just simply because there's speculation on this one. But I do see how people could think that possibly Lilith was created at the same time as Adam, and clearly it didn't work out. So he created another woman, Eve, to be Adam's wife. So the only other mentioning that I could find in the Bible of Lilith is Isaiah 34:14. The wild beast of the desert met with wolves, and wild goats will cry to fellow. The screech owl will settle there and find her place. So screech owl, we just seen earlier in the video that this is one of the, I believe this is a Jewish translation of her name, is screech owl. But if you look at the CEB version of the Bible, it actually says her name in it. So, I don't know, guys. How do I make this go away? There we go. All right. So modern day mentionings of Lilith have been seen in Wicca. In Wicca, she's seen more of a goddess of fertility, and she's not necessarily looked upon as a demon. She's looked upon as more of a positive figure. It is also seen in Satanism, where they refer to Lilith as a goddess, the first mother, and actually the wife of Satan. So let's move on to one of our near last topics on this. Lilith has been seen in numerous movies, video games, and books. In the Chronicle of Narnia, she is said to be a descendant of the White Witch. So what descendant she is of Lilith, I'm not sure, but it's said that she is a descendant of Lilith. And of course, all you horror fans out there know 30 Days of Night. It was based out of Alaska, where it goes dark for 30 days. And in this village, once it went dark, she was said to be the demon queen and the leader of the demon clan that took over the town. She's also seen in Supernatural. I believe towards the end of the season, she's seen more. She's referred to as the mother of demons. She's seen in True Blood. And a video game that she's featured in, I think there's 2 of them that she's featured in Final Fantasy. I'm not sure on that. I'm not a gamer. And there's also a book of H.P. Lovecraft that is referenced to her in his story, The Horror and the Red Hook. So I'm not 100% sure where I've seen this at, but I found it and saved it. It's obviously an old poem. You can tell by the wording. So I'll just go ahead and read it to you. An ode to Lilith. Neareth ancient catacombs she lies, within the realm of shadow dim. As sunlight fades from crimson skies, the dark queen conjures a nightmare grim. A cruel smile twists upon her face as she unfolds her ebon wings to wrap the world in her embrace, unleashing all darkness brings. Foul things rise from the abyss to bow before her reverently. Born of her immortal kiss, they worship her dark majesty. So that's about my brief summary that I had dove into on Lilith. We may do more diving into her later, but for right now, that's what I got for you guys. I want to hear some of your thoughts in the comments. So, do you think that God created woman twice or once? Because it said that Lilith was considered a primordial being, which means she was there from the beginning of time. That doesn't necessarily mean that she was, created as a woman. She could have been not Adam's first wife. Eve could have been the only wife. But I don't know, guys. There's a lot of speculation about it if you read around. So let me know what you guys think. Have a good day. Bye.